Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to European Truck Simulator 2, and welcome back to, we're about a third of the way on our trip from Bitola? And we're going to Ljubljana? Meh, these names, I'll tell you what. So we did not sleep, we pulled over here at this frontier, we did not sleep, and there's a place to sleep, looks like right on the other side. So step one, let us get through here. Let us get... I guess this isn't a frontier. Yeah, I thought it was. I think it's just a toll booth. Now we got a green arrow over here. Is this going to let us go through? Hopefully it does. So we'll pull up to the other side. We'll sleep there, and I think that's going to wake us up late evening. So we might have to drive in the dark a little bit. But what can you do? If it's dark, it's dark. And we'll get rolling here, and I'll get my thoughts organized, and we'll figure something out. Start toll road. Beautiful. That lets us go through. Nice and easy. And it says there's a place to sleep over here on the right. But I think I might need to hop out third person for a second just to see where it is we're supposed to go. And it looks like, yeah, in front of this fella. So we might need to back up a little bit. But I don't think that'll be a problem. So we get pulled right in here. Get pulled right in here. So, and then right like so. There we are. Beautiful. So, up here, like that, neutral. Set the brake. Get rid of that. Come down here. Thumbnail. And then we get some sleep. Man, I did not want to drive at night, but what can we do? Okay, it's still a little bit daylight. It is raining. Fantastic. I'm so happy that this truck is available again. This is the Mercedes Antos, the 2012 Antos. I love this truck. I think this might be one of the first opportunities to really look at it in daylight. I love this little truck. I love it. I'm really glad it made it back. So we hop back in here. Brake is off. Put her in gear. Here we go. And I think we've got, I don't know, a few hundred kilometers to go. We got a ways to go. Right. Making our way, we're heading west. Making our way back to Western Europe. And hopefully we make it all the way back to... We won't make it this trip, but hopefully we make it all the way back to Reims. And I don't know. You want to reevaluate? We can do whatever we want. It's a great thing about gaming. You can do whatever you want. So we can... I don't know. What do you want to do? We could... I mean, we can buy a garage in Rotterdam. But I don't know in this game if you can move your home office. I don't know if you can. Can you? Can you reassign the city that you want your home office to be in? I have no information on that. I don't know if you can or not. I wouldn't mind doing that. I like Reims, and I like the skin that we've made, but I wouldn't mind switching everything over and maybe going with a Dutch theme. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Oh, look at this. Massive rest stop up here where we could have... slept without backing in front of that truck. Not a big deal. Not a big deal either way, I guess. I'm a little bit... I'm trying to get settled here. I'm trying to get organized, and it's not working. But we got time. Right, so what is going on? It's Sunday for me. It's Monday for you. In the real world, there's another hurricane headed my way. I don't know what it is about me, but hurricanes, man. This will be, I don't know, my fourth, my fifth. Now, to be fair, I've always been far enough from the coast, like 100 miles or so, that what I get is just a really, really bad thunderstorm. So it's not, I'm not trying to appropriate anybody else's drama. I mean, I know these are big storms and people's homes and businesses get wrecked and people get killed. So I'm not making light of it or saying that what happens to me that far from the coast is like what people on the coast go through. I don't mean it that way. But this is, it seems like every time I'm in the South, hurricanes find me. And I don't even live here. I spend time here, but I don't even live here. So that should happen later this week, and it could track all the way out to sea. It could just go up toward Greenland, as they do, just keep kind of curving around to the northeast. That would be fantastic if it did. Just stay out in the open ocean and don't hurt anybody. But it could also sort of stall and then come ashore anywhere from Florida up to Virginia. So we'll keep our eye on that. And if you are anywhere near where that could happen, you know the rules. Make your preparations, listen to emergency services, and evacuate if you have to. It's not worth it. There's no piece of property that's worth getting killed over. So that's some serious stuff. We'll get that out of the way. What's going on with gaming? Nothing. I think it has something to do with August being holiday season in Europe and so many of these companies being based in Europe. Oh, easy. So I feel like we've had a bit of a hiatus, and things are going to get cranked up again now. We're looking forward to the Farm Sim Platinum DLC. I know some people weren't. Some people aren't. They're a little, feeling like it's a bit of a cash grab. I'm on the fence about that. I do think Giants could have released all of the equipment that they're planning on putting in there. I think they could have released that as the Class DLC pack for $4.99. The fact that it's going to be $20 for things that arguably should have been in the game from day one, and how do I want to say this? I feel like the absence of Class equipment, and John Deere until this year, this iteration, John Deere, Class, I feel like that is more on Giants, right? Like, you need to get your licensing agreements sorted out with these manufacturers, and as consumers, that's not our problem. I know those machines all need to be built and rendered and coded and various other things, so I know there's time that goes into it. But to me, where do we draw the line as gamers between something that should be in a game and something that could be in a game? I'm in MX GP 2019 right now. It's got I wouldn't say a ton of bugs. It's got some bugs. It's also got some things missing. Things that should be in the game that everybody agrees, man, I can't get my wipers fast enough. There they go. Now they're moving faster, but the interval's the same. You know what I mean? There's a long pause between swings. Hang on. Whoa. Easy. Let's get these wipers sorted out first. No. Not sorting. There we go. And I think... Can we go all the way over here? I can't see because the wipers aren't working. Is this... We got a green arrow here? Yes, we do. I'm just going to leave them that speed. Moment. Concentrating. Looking for a gear. There's one. So you get what I'm saying. There are things that should be in a game. And then there are other things that a developer adds and people are sort of surprised. Oh, you know what? I hadn't thought of that. That's a really cool thing to add to a game. They could have put that in there, and they did. So, Class equipment, where does it land on that spectrum? Is that something that should have been in the game? Is that something that Giants... I mean, and I understand they've been efforting it. They've been trying to get that licensing agreement for a long time. But is that our problem as gamers? Should that be in base game? And I don't have a definite answer. Part of me says, yeah, it should be. And part of me says, no, man, it's, you know, it's something new. And when you get something new, when you get something added, you got to pay for it. I say split the difference and do the class pack for $4.99 as they did the John Deere pack, which I inadvertently said was 20 US. It wasn't 20, it was 5 US, $5 US. But here's the thing, it was $5 for one piece of equipment, essentially. I mean, there were some loaders and some trailers and various things, but really all you wanted when you got that pack was the John Deere combine harvester for cotton. Do we call it a combine harvester when it's for cotton? Well, it's a cotton harvester, whatever it is. You know what I mean. We got one piece of equipment for $5. Okay, that's a little steep. So could they swing it the other way and say, here's 35 pieces of equipment for $5? I don't know. I guess it depends on what kind of time they put into getting it all built and coded. But we're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. It'll be nice to have official class in there. That'll be a cool addition to the game. And then Automobilista in December. Automobilista 2. And I'm really on the fence about that because I realize I have so many race sims. And there's really only about half of them that I spend any significant time in. We're wobbling a little bit here. Let's get stabilized. About half. And do I really need another race sim? Particularly a race sim that is meant to represent a type of racing that I'm not particularly into. And it's not that I'm not into it. I'm just not into it. You know, I have no real affinity or awareness for the Brazilian race scene. Looks like sports car racing primarily. Although there might be some historic stuff in there. That's what I mean. I really don't know anything about it. So I'll most likely get it, just because that's the way I am with games and sims. I just get everything and then kind of decide later whether or not I should have got it. But we'll see. I hear great things about Automobilista too. And you know, I hear people say, you know, the physics are so good, and you know, this is so good, and that's so good. And I was trying to get into R Factor 2 the other day. And I realized I had some downloaded tracks, mods. It's got a really, I don't want to say clunky, it's got a really odd interface. When you buy things, you don't buy things in the Steam store. You get like paid workshop items. It's very strange. It's honestly, it's not very easy to use. It's certainly not as easy to use as something like Dirt Rally 2.0. You buy the game, it comes with a ton of DLC, or at least the version that I bought came with a ton of DLC. I saw there were a couple other pieces of DLC that were not included that I wanted. You click them, you put them in your cart, and they appear. Or the Race Room model, where you buy things on their website. Well, you go to their website, you log in with your Steam profile, you buy things on their website, not through Steam, but then when you go back to the game in Steam, those items, essentially they're always downloaded. So anytime there's a new car or a new track, whether you buy it or not, it is included in the update, and it's now on your local, but you don't have access to it until you buy it in the Race Room store. The next time you log into Steam, the next time you log into your game, that item, track, car, whatever, it will now be active. It's different, but it works. It's very easy to use. Once you do it for the first time, it's very easy to use. R Factor 2, not so much. And so you get these workshop items. Now, some of them are made by Studio 397, which is the company that makes R Factor. And you would think, okay, this is official content. But it doesn't always look the best. It's, you know what I mean? It's a different kind of race sim, but it does have great physics. And I guess that's what people like about it. And I said, it might have been ETS, might have been ATS, but I said R Factor 2 has a bit of that iRacing syndrome, where it's got fantastic physics. It doesn't look so good. doesn't have the cleanest interface. It isn't necessarily the easiest to get set up and use. So it's got a lot of strikes against it, but it's got those physics, that physics handling, physics modeling, and people love it for that reason alone. And I think, you know, I don't know. I feel like we're getting to a point in gaming where we don't have to make that choice anymore. Now, iRacing that's an outlier on the scatter chart. There's nothing else like iRacing because of what it brings to multiplayer. And I feel sometimes like their focus, well, obviously their focus is multiplayer, but I feel like they are focused on multiplayer to the exclusion of other things. And they're also a relatively small crew. They're, 18 people? iRacing is 18 people. It's a pretty small outfit. It seems like they're making a lot of money because they have so many subscribers and they sell so much content. I don't know if they are or not, because if it was me, I would definitely invest some money in making that game prettier. They've got an affiliation with NASCAR now. I know NASCAR is on the decline, but they've still got deep pockets. So, you know what I mean? Other than iRacing, I feel like most racing sims are not trying to make a choice between a game that looks good and a game that plays well. Assetto Corsa Competizione, perfect example. It's a really good-looking game, and it's got really good physics. AI could use a little work, a couple more patches, you know, but we're making progress. And then I look at something like R-Factor 2, and I think, it's like really all it has is physics. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also, in this day and age, I don't know if it's enough to compete. So, we'll see. I hear great things about Automobilista, and I'm curious about Automobilista 2, and at the same time, I just don't know if I need another race sim, because, you know, it's not so much the $50, it's the hard drive space and the fact that I'm just not likely to play it. You know, it just seems kind of wasteful. But at the same time, if it's a race sim, you know, I gotta have it. I gotta see it. I gotta play it. I gotta look at it. So we got a couple months to figure out what's going on with that. And what else is going on? Nothing really. Nothing really. I think. Oh, okay. Whoa, careful. I do think Road to the Black Sea. The way that they announced it, in my experience, when SCS announces a DLC, it's released within a month or two. Maybe 3. I feel like Road to the Black Sea, either there were some delays or they just chose to push it back and release it with the 1.36 patch when they will also release Utah. And I'm perfectly okay with that. It doesn't bother me at all. Because I believe when we go to 1.36, we're going to have the whole pro mods situation like we always do. I think what I'm going to do is clone this profile. The one that we're in right now. I think I'm going to clone it. And I think we're going to, because I do want to test pro mods. But I do like testing pro mods with all my, with all my cool trucks, right? I don't like necessarily testing pro mods in a vanilla profile. It works, and in some ways it's more fair to the developers because you've got nothing running but base game trucks and pro mods. And I feel like once you get a bunch of stuff going on, you're not necessarily seeing whatever mod it is that you want to sort of view exclusively. You're not really seeing it in a pure state. So maybe it is more fair to test pro mods in a clean profile. I don't know. It's not as much fun. It's certainly not as much fun. So I think I'm going to clone the profile that we're in right now. And when the new pro mods comes out, presumably right after 1.36, or maybe saying it from another angle, I guess I want to test 1.36, and it could be the only way to do that is without pro mods. Moment. There we are. And then, once the new Pro Mods comes out, then we want to test that sort of Again, not necessarily on its own, but sort of in a clean state, a fair state.
Keep right.
But we've got a little time to figure that out, and I assume now, I don't know this, but I assume now that that's how that will work out, is the Road to the Black Sea will drop with 1.36. And then on the ATS side, we don't have any of those concerns. The game will update to 1.36, we'll buy the Utah DLC, and we're good to go. So that's what's going on there. And I think, yeah, I mean, there have been some patches for some games and sims that I'm into, and other than that, August has been kind of slow. It really has, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I think we get hectic enough about gaming. If we get to take a little break now and then, that's fine. Oh, almost hit the barricade. Right. I'll tell you something else that happened, and this is sort of off topic. It's not really a sim gaming thing. Is the rain stopping? Or are we just not moving? Ah, we were under some type of an awning. I got you. Where's it want me to go? Right through here? Seems like it. So the Ubisoft Uplay Plus subscription service is going to happen. This is a little different. I need that. Yeah, I need that to turn off. Okay, we're doing good. Although it says we want to be over there. Oh man, this is a really big parking lot. I just want to be through it so that menu goes away. There we go. Every time that menu pops up, I can't see my sat nav. So the Ubisoft Uplay Plus service is going live tomorrow? Yeah, because what's today? Is today the 1st or the 2nd? I think today is September 1st. 2nd to you. So, yeah. Ah! That was completely uncalled for. Is there somebody over here? No, okay. That was just not cool. That will be going live. The service is very appealing to me. The only concern that I have is none of those games are really suitable for the channel. Other than The Crew 2 and maybe Steep. Now, Steep I think we could get into on the channel, particularly this winter, right? Because I do miss my mountains. So that could be a thing. But other than that, you know, is there really anything? Ubisoft makes great games, but they make different kinds of games. They don't necessarily make sim games. So, yeah. And I worry I'm going to spend too much time in those types of games because I do tend to fall down the RPG hole. I got, myself and a lot of other people, we downloaded Assassin's Creed Unity for free right after Notre Dame burned. And I spent some time playing it the past couple weeks. Hop on there now and then. And, you know, there's a kind of a, I don't want to say a sad truth, but there's a reality to RPG games that, I mean, I guess if they're designed well, they don't feel grindy. But here's the basic model for an RPG game. You start as a basic character with a single basic weapon and basic armor, and you fight very low-level enemies. And ideally, you win those fights, but sort of just barely, right? You got to put a little effort into it. You level up, you get XP, you get better weapons, but then the enemies scale. And now when you fight them, you win, but just barely. You got to put some effort into it. And it keeps going and going and going. You get better and better weapons, and the enemies get harder and harder. So the fights are really, I don't want to say all the same, but they're really just kind of all the same. You win, but with effort. It takes some concentration and focus. Okay, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the standard RPG model. And at the same time, every now and then when I'm playing an RPG, I'll sort of wonder, like, man, what am I doing here? What am I doing? I'm chasing imaginary loot so I can level up and get stronger, so I can fight bigger bosses. But the only reason I want to fight those bigger bosses is because they drop better loot, which I can then use to level up to fight better bosses. And also the movement dynamics on Assassin's Creed Unity are famously, it's a known issue, as they say. Movement dynamics are a little busted on that game. So toward the latter stages, they just start throwing waves of enemies at you, and that to me, that's not super creative. It's not, it's really not anything. They're just throwing monsters at you. Come on, man. You can do better than that. Hang on. I'm gonna hop out here and see about a little screenshot. Yeah. Maybe a little nighttime shot. We haven't done that for a minute. So those two things combined, I uninstalled the game immediately. I wasn't mad or anything, but it's just like, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? It takes time away from the channel. I have limited time to game, and I don't necessarily want to spend that limited time in a game that does not contribute to the channel. This is really kind of my focus right now. Growing the channel and playing good sim games that you want to see. Sir. Here we go. So I put all that together, and I don't know what Uplay Plus is going to bring to the channel. I love the idea of it. I would like to see Steam do the same thing, but why would they? They have so many different titles, and I think it would certainly complicate their business model, where you've got kind of a server side, almost like a lockout system, where if you don't pay your service fee, if you don't pay your subscription fee for that month, you can't play all the games that you have on your list. It seems simple enough, but I don't think it is. But it's basically the Netflix model. Pay the fee and you can interact with anything that's on the service. Don't pay the fee, you can't use them. So that's fair enough. But I don't know if Steam would do that. I also don't know, honestly. I mean, Ubisoft is one company. I don't know what a typical Ubisoft customer spends in a year, but I know for myself personally, I spend, I don't know, $50 to $200 a month on games. So, right? Would Steam risk the possibility that, somebody who spends, let's average it out, let's say $100 a month. Somebody that spends $100 a month on games is now going to spend $15 a month on games? I don't know. I just feel like Steam is so different than Uplay that a subscription model, it'd be great if it did work. I would much rather pay $15 a month for unlimited access to every game in the universe. But I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't. So we'll check out Uplay Plus. It's very appealing. I just don't know if it's going to bring a lot to my world. But you'll have that. And, the first month is free anyway. So we'll see. And really, I've never had much of an interest in Far Cry. I've never had much of an interest in... I did like Ghost Recon Wildlands, but it got really, really silly toward the end. And then the DLC for it, was it Ghosts? There was Ghosts and there was Narco Road. Ghosts was like some kind of boogeyman sci-fi nonsense. It was ridiculous. And then Narco Road was like Wreckfest. Like hit the NOS button on your giant pink monster truck. I don't know. It's when I see DLC like that, I always have kind of a what were you thinking moment, because the game itself, the first part of Ghost Recon Wildlands is it's so good, and then it just gets sillier and sillier, and then the DLC went completely off the rails. So now there's a new one. I don't know if the new one, what's it called? Breakpoint. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I don't know if that's going to be on the Uplay Plus service, or if they're going to hold that one as a premium title and sell it standalone. I know the Division 2 has a lot of appeal for me, but again, I know myself, I know my limits, and I know I really fell down a hole with the original Division. I got that a couple years after it was released. It was on super sale. One Christmas it was like 90% off, and I went ahead and got the Super Deluxe Platinum. And it was a fun game, but I fell down that RPG hole. I fell down that hole of chasing loot. And that's not necessarily something that I want to do again with Division 2. Particularly, like I said, because it doesn't do anything for the channel. And I do want to continue growing the channel. So we'll see about that. Yeah, and I think that's it. I think that's it for gaming. Any other news? There's been no news of a DLC for Train Sim World. I've been checking because they were dropping DLC like one per month, all the way up to Train Sim 2020 and the Peninsula Corridor DLC, which was only a few weeks ago, in fairness. And I'm not saying like I'm mad or disappointed or anything. I'm just curious that they seem to be on a cycle. We've got about 10 more minutes to go, maybe 15, and we're at 30 minutes. I think we're just going to have to roll it. I think we're going to have to roll it the rest of the way through. So, yeah, I'm curious what the next DLC will be. I'm curious if they're ever going to release Steam. I know people want Steam. I know people really want routes that aren't in Germany, the UK, or the US. That's something that I see consistently in the comments. Like, is it the Train Sim World, or is it just the Train Sim 3 countries? So we'll see what they do with that. That game's really grown on me. It really has. I got it. Well, when I got it, it was just CSX Heavy Haul. I liked it, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't anything as captivating as, say, the Truck Sims. But it was good. And as they've added the DLC and as they've optimized the game and fixed some bugs, I've really come around to it. I do like that game. Very, very chill. We've also got some new stuff going on with Spin Tires, the original game, but I feel like that has sort of plateaued. I feel like they had a lot of things they wanted to make happen once their embargo lifted or whatever it was that was going on. Once that resolved itself, I feel like they had a lot of things on their list, and I get the feeling they've done most of them. So we'll see what happens with Spin Tires. I like the Canyons DLC. I like the area. The truck that's included, is it the E167, the E176, that crazy like off-road bus? Yeah, that didn't really do it for me. I would have liked to see something else in there. That's to me, that's an odd choice. But regardless, it's super cool that Spin Tires, the original game, brought itself up to date and just kind of out of the blue. I mean, I imagine that was all cooking behind the scenes. You know, they were making all their moves as best they could while they were sorting out legal stuff. Who knows? But that all sort of dropped suddenly. There could be more to drop. Who knows? Who knows? 80. Let's get the cruise control locked in here. Now, here's the next question. Are we going to make it all the way in before we have to sleep again? Because, man, I don't know about a 3-part episode. That's too many pieces. That's too many parts. Cruise control. There we go. And, in fact, we could check it. Straight road. Here we go. We have 2 hours and 39 minutes to get there. Oh. And we got to sleep in just over 2 hours. I don't think we're going to make it unless we got two choices. We can speed, or we can continue driving after we're starting to fall asleep. The speeding, as I'm picking it up to 90 right now. The speeding I'm less worried about. Oh, but we got the beeper. Okay. It's not the speeding that I'm worried about. It's the
Keep left.
It's the fact that the part of the world we're in has so many toll booths and border crossings that I don't know that we would have a lot of... Let me slide over a little bit here. Make a little room. I don't know that we would have a significant net gain by speeding because we'd be slowing down and stopping so often. I guess we'll just soldier on here and see how we do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright. 2 hours there. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be close. We won't be completely falling asleep, although I gotta pick up the pace here, or we are going to fall too far behind. We are going to be falling asleep just as we get to the yard. So I think I need to do everything I can to sort of maximize and optimize the time that we do have remaining. Okay. So things could get a little exciting here at the end. Where are we at on time? I think we'll be okay. Yep, there's our first yawn. And it's a little bit twisty here. It's not super twisty, but it's a little bit twisty. Okay. Well, we're committed now, and I'm not seeing any places to sleep. I don't think it would be worth it to sleep anyway. I think we would most likely be late at that point. Well, I say most likely. We would definitely be late. But oh yeah, here's another border crossing. Now do they factor these in when they give the estimate of the remaining time for the job? Do they factor in these stops? Because I feel like the...
Turn left.
Turn left. Okay. I feel like the pause that the game gives you at the checkpoint up here is pretty long. I don't know if there's a way for the software to, like, detect that. You know what I mean? Like when... Whoever built this area in Pro Mods, I don't know if the delay, right, like the clock, whatever, the count. Oh, sweet, we're not even stopping. We're just rolling. I like rolling. Oh, all right. Didn't stop for that one. You see what I'm saying? Is there a way that the game can calculate the stops and pauses that the map maker has built in at these frontiers and include that in the estimate of when you'll get there? All right. This one, there's no barricade, but we're going to stop anyway just to be good truckers. Right about here. All right. How are we doing on time? 40 minutes. We're okay. We're not really okay. Go through here. All right. See if we can get a map up here. Get an estimate on time. Now we are speed limited, jump up to 90, but I believe that's that's factored in, you know, that's included in the estimate, the new speed limit. Right. There's 90. Lock that in. Lock that in. Too many things going on at once. There's the top gear. So we go here. 27 minutes till we sleep. An hour and 7 minutes. Yeah, we lost some time. We lost some time at the border. I don't know if we can push this for... Well, we'll be 30 minutes over on sleep. I don't know if we can do that. It's going to be close. Now, if we're in a town when we start falling asleep, sounds horrible to say as a sim driver, as a simulation trucker, it sounds terrible to say this, but I'm less worried about falling asleep at the wheel once we're in town than I am falling asleep at the wheel on the highway. But you know what? We'll just do what we can. We're committed now. We are 100% committed. That's cool. Some kind of buildings or houses up there on the roof above the tunnel. That's cool. I don't know how cool it would be to live there, but it's cool to look at. Through here. Alright. I know we're getting sleepy. So we go through here. Beautiful. All right, and I think we're getting off the highway. Yep, we're getting off the highway right here.
Keep right, and then exit right.
So we're gonna do this.
Exit right.
I think. And we're getting signs for the city we're going to.
Get ready to turn left.
Yeah, I think we might make it. I think we might. So we're here.
Turn left.
Computer here. We're going. We gotta go. Right. Alright, there's the city. I think we're gonna make it. Through here.
Keep left, and then turn left.
Over here. Alright, there's our town. Get the green light. Fantastic. Loading scenery. Loading a tile. Okay. Alright, that's fine. So we go left here.
And then turn left.
This one? Or this one? No, this one.
Turn left.
Okay, this one. Got it. There we go. Okay, we made it. Pushing our luck. Pushing our luck, like always, but we made it. Okay, fantastic. How we do on time? 45 minutes. It's a little bit long. It's a little bit long, but you know what? It happens. So we will get some sleep here in town,
Ready to turn right.
and then continue heading west into Austria and Switzerland and France. And next thing you know, we'll be home. We might even make it home next episode. It's a little bit long, but we'll get there. There's our spot. I'm just going to do a quick delivery. Video's been too long anyway. So we'll go right over here. Right over here. Beautiful. How'd we do? On time. No damage. Beautiful. There you go. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of European Truck Simulator 2. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.